Welcome to another edition of Lone Star Brahmas Inside the Bullpen, brought to you by Fine Life Realty. And now, here's your host, Nick Merritt.
Another episode of Inside the Bullpen. Nick Merritt, Walt Ruff, Chad Seward, and our special guest this week is goaltender Corbin Kaczperski. Lots on the plate for this week of action here in Brahma Land, but Corbin, let's jump right into it. Welcome to the podcast. Glad to have you on. How's this week been in preparation of Wichita Falls?
It's been a lot of work. We didn't have too great of a week last week, and we knew that this week was going to be even tougher, playing the Wildcats twice. So it's been a lot of hard work. Coach has been really pounding into us that we need to get out there and outwork them. So it's been a lot of hard work, and I think we look good. We're looking better than we have in a long time, and it's gonna be a good weekend for us.
Now, going back to Amarillo, kind of want to just talk about the weekend trip that just was for the Brahmas on the road. Back-to-back losses. It's the first time since the Topeka trip back in October. What happens to a team after that? Have the guys come together, or is this something that's you feel maybe a lingering effect, and this team is so hungry to win, they're so used to winning that it kind of throws off the team?
I think it definitely brought us together. After the Amarillo loss, Coach kind of left us alone, and we talked as a team for a long time because we should never lose to Amarillo. That's just it shouldn't happen. We're a better team than that. And we were together for a good 15 minutes after the game, and clearly there was a lot of emotions in the room, and we just kind of all came together as a team. We're like, hey, we need to step it up. Everyone in this room can work harder and be better than what we were. So I think it was good for us, and it'll show this weekend against the Wildcats.
Well, it was definitely a weird, calming sense, not from the fact of being, pleased, but it was a different Brahmas vibe, obviously, that Walt and I got when we were on the road trip, just seeing the team more focused after the losses, which you understand. You want to take those losses and run with it, but, you were there as well. Do you really feel the Brahmas team played that bad? Because nobody really saw that. I know it's going to be frustrating to see losses, but when you break down the games, I know you were just telling us beforehand, you're watching some video and seeing what went wrong. It wasn't like the team just self-destructed and was like, what's this team?
Yeah, I don't think you can ever say you played bad when you outshoot a team 45-19. It just right. Pucks weren't going in. They get a fluke first goal, and which is the unluckiest goal I've ever been a part of, and then the second goal is a tip through a screen. So, two crazy goals, and we just can't bury one, right? So I thought we played well. It wasn't our best, obviously, because we couldn't put the puck in the net, but it wasn't a bad game. You're right. It was just didn't happen for us.
I think that's how teams mature, and I think that's kind of what the process is going through now. But I want to get on to your point of scoring, because it seems like, just kind of having the chatter in the office recently, it's like, it's all fine and dandy if you lose, but ultimately if the goalies like yourself are hung out to dry and the team scores one goal a game, that's not going to get wins. How has it been like seeing some of those players like Marabella and Patava come back and practice this week?
Oh, it's been huge. Patava's a big guy out there. He definitely brings his presence onto the ice with him, and it's going to be good for us. I know Marabella is out there every time in the goalie sessions working on his shot while we work on our skills, so it's going to be good, and it'll be good for us. Bring some chemistry back to the lines, and it'll be good. We'll get some goals on Kapellmaster this week.
Did you have a good conversation with Rooney after during the goalie skate earlier this week?
Yeah, we did. We talked about the goals that went in, and there was some teaching moments to be had. And it was good. We had a good session yesterday. We actually had a goalie session. And I'll be ready for this weekend.
What's that process like? We kind of talk about it on the podcast, but some of the fans may not be aware of how much work this team puts into their game. Obviously, everybody knows about Dan and Jeff on the bench, but Al's kind of that lingering guy who some fans know about him, some fans don't. I know he makes some road trips after his season's over with the Texas Brahmas. Is it nice to have that extra goalie coach who you can kind of relate to more? So say if Dan or Jeff get maybe upset with something, that you kind of have that middleman with Al to kind of walk you through things and really focus on you rather than just the team's overall play?
Oh, yeah, it's huge. Even just for my confidence, much along my game. He goes over pretty much every goal that gets scored on us, and before every goalie session, I'll ask him, and OB will too, he can attest to that even though he's not here, that he goes over every goal, and we talk about it, and we, try to figure out what we can do better. And sometimes it'll seem like maybe to the coaches that we should have had it, and he'll defend us, or vice versa, right? Coach think, oh, that's a good goal, and Coach Al will be like, no, he should have had that, right? So, I mean, it's good, and he really brings a confidence aspect besides just the teaching aspect, too, that really helps me personally.
So it holds you in check.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you mentioned the next point, too, that we were going to get to in this podcast. Obviously, one of the big news is kind of the goalie shuffle around, which is fitting that you're on the podcast this week. With Connor O'Brien moving up to the USHL, yourself playing in the USHL, Brandon Perrone, who I don't know if you were aware, but he played for in the All-Star games back in the Brahmas camp. Now he's going to play alongside you for at least a couple of weeks while O'Brien's with Youngstown. I know every goalie wants to be that number one. But before we get to that, I know you and OB have had something pretty special going on this year. What's it like to see the goaltenders in Brahmaland get recognized and get a chance to move up?
Oh, I think it's amazing. I truly think no one else deserves it more than OB. He works hard every day in practice, and he deserves it. He deserves this chance, and I really hope he gets some playing time up there. He definitely deserves it. And Perrone, I think we have amazing depth in the goalie situation. Obviously, with OB and I rotating, obviously Coach has trust in both of us. Perrone this week in practice, I mean, you ask around anyone in the room, they're like, this kid's good. He can play. So, I mean, we have amazing depth, and it deserves to be recognized, that's for sure.
Is it crazy to think he's almost 2 years younger than you?
Oh, it makes me feel old. Yeah, it makes me feel old. It definitely does. But no, he's a good goalie, and he's got a great future ahead of him.
But you're right there in those situations. And before I get Chad and Walt to chime in, it seems like they're preparing some questions over here. What is it like now? The fact that when you and OB are battling you're battling together to improve yourselves. Now is the chance for you to kind of take a nice stretch and have confidence of building off your gameplay. Because I know from a goaltending standpoint, it has to be tough. It's great to get the rest, but it has to be tough of saying, I wanted to fix some things on my Friday night start, but I know it's OB's turn on Saturday or vice versa. Are you excited for this chance to get a couple games in a row under your belt and kind of see how you can work with this team?
Oh, yeah. I am. It's obviously every different goalie situation has its pros and cons. OB and I, we obviously get the added benefit of getting a little bit more rest than, say, a starting goalie would, and we get to feed off of each other, right? There's always that competition between the two of us. But at the end of the day, you always want to start, right? And I'm sure OB and I have talked. We've been living together for the past month or so. So we obviously always want to start, but it'll be good to get a couple games in. And I'm not guaranteed to start every game either.
Right.
I am not I would not be surprised if Coach Dan put Perrone in. He's a great goalie, and I just got to go out there and prove that hopefully I can start every game.
Well, that's one thing that's different about the NAHL is when we were in the Central Hockey League, we always have the number one guy. And there's no question about it. He's the number one guy because he starts 75% of the games. I can remember one year we had a backup who played one game, got lit up for 6 goals, and then sat on the bench for 2 months before we found somewhere to trade him to.
Yikes,
but in the NA,
tough.
It doesn't seem like we have that designated number one. So last year we had with Kupski and Black, it was how did it go, Nick? Was Black the Friday guy and Kupski was the Saturday guy?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, do you have a set rotation, or do you guys just come into the rink on game night and not know who's starting? Or?
Usually, if we have 2 games in the weekend, OB will be the Friday guy and I'll be the Saturday guy. It really just, we rotate every game. So even if we have a 3-game weekend, we just keep the rotation going. Sometimes Coach will tell us the day before. Sometimes he'll tell us an hour before we head to the rink. You just got to be ready. As a goalie, that comes with it, right? You just got to be ready for anything that gets thrown at you, and you always got to be ready to go on the net. So.
Well, hey, I think Walt and I had a chance to sneak over to the Stars game against the Hurricanes in the week, and I think both their coaching staff was a testament to your goalies better be ready. We saw 4 goalies in that game.
Holy cow, yeah. That was a high-scoring game. I caught the highlights of that one, and that was a high-scoring game for sure. Holy cow.
It was a shooting gallery. Walt, we were going pretty nuts up there in the 300s.
It was fun last night for sure.
I mean, kind of, back to this week and something that I think you've been a part of before, but not with the Brahmas family. Annual Teddy Bear Toss is here. I know the fans definitely love it. Lots of those teddy bears will be donated then to the Community Enrichment Center, which you guys will help deliver. I guess we haven't even gotten that spiel yet, but
Yeah, you will.
you learn on the podcast. You learn things every second at a time. But has any of the boys, maybe like Giles, Kessel, Hogan, have they talked at all about what that event is kind of like in the past, or is it just like sometimes promotions just kind of go over your head, and when it happens, it's like, oh, all right.
We haven't talked about it as a team. We know it's coming up. It's been mentioned here and there, but really we've been just focusing on winning. We lost 2 games in a row, as you said earlier, and we've just been really focusing on hunkering down.
That's a great political answer, right?
It's true though. It's true. Like we're not. Everything is great with the teddy bear toss. That's an awesome event, and we're really happy we're a part of it. We just, at the end of the day, we need to win, right? And that's what it's about too for us. So that's what we've been focusing on. And the teddy bear toss will be there, but in the end, we need to win. So.
Well, I think it's a big test too, because when you look at it, it's Wichita Falls for 5 in a row now. What does that do, knowing that it's 1 versus 2 in the South, and this is a big opportunity for the Brahmas not only to get back on the winning track, but also kind of gain some ground back in the South standings? Because I know every time when I'm down there, this team is hungry for the championship. They go down there. They really want to prove something this year. It's kind of the whole group's vibe of, dang it, we're good. Let's show that we're good. And what not a better chance than this week to start off the right foot with two against the Wildcats. So I know you said winning obviously is something that's there, but against this Wildcat team that Brahmas have been pretty much played 500 hockey with this season, what's it going to take to get that next step to pass Wichita Falls?
I think we just need to calm down and play our game. I think we've had spurts of greatness when we play against them. I think in the last game we played them, the last 10 minutes of the game were the puck was in their zone the entire time. We can play against this team. It's just a matter of calming down and doing it. I mean, sometimes I think we maybe get a little too nervous or a little too like, this is a big game. We need to play. We need to just focus, calm down, and play our game. So I think that's just what it comes down to, and the goals will come and the wins will come.
And I think playing against Amarillo so many times in the first half of the season almost lulls you to sleep a little bit. No disrespect to Amarillo. Well, whatever. Disrespect to Amarillo. We've played 10 games against them.
Yeah.
And we're 9-1.
Yeah.
And really, that last game, it's a 1-goal game.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's it. I hate to say it's almost like playing a JV team, and you feel like with Wichita Falls, you just kind of get blindsided with a true talent. So hopefully we'll rise to the occasion this weekend and then kind of be ready for the second half of the season where we finally play our other opponents in the South.
Yeah, that's playing Amarillo so many times in a row definitely can wear on a player, especially coming in. You're like, all right, we're playing Amarillo again. And obviously you have to come in and play your best every game, but there is, playing a team that many times in a row of that caliber.
Right. I said it.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
I don't want to say you get lax with it, but you definitely there's a different mindset when you're playing Amarillo compared to Wichita, and you
probably think you're going to win before you even get to the arena.
Yeah,
it's a bad way to think.
I'm saying at this level you can't think that way.
Right.
It just
Otherwise, things like Saturday just happen to fall into place, and the Bulls have nothing to lose. They're like, well, why not? Let's try to.
You don't win many hockey games, like you said, with 1 goal.
No, and that's obviously a big problem. But it seems like the scoring's back on track, at least with some players back, and good week of practice under the belt. But I think another thing too, when you play a team like Amarillo 10 times in 1 calendar year, which is now basically stretched over 2.5 months with the season, it's kind of the same routines. It's the same strategies. It's the same breakouts. It's the same forecheck patterns. It's the same. Yeah,
because rosters haven't changed that much yet.
No, rosters won't change in that little time. The systems don't change. But then when you go from a team like Amarillo to Wichita Falls, and I'll have Corbin speak on this in a second, it's got to be 2 totally different game plans against those two based on their different style of plays.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely different. Our coaches are great, and they give us little scouting reports before every game. So obviously, it's a lot of the same stuff against Amarillo.
We see you guys walk out with your little homework.
Oh yeah. We gotta know what's on that. But Wichita's a whole different animal there. They're a faster team. They got a lot of better players. I'll agree with you on that one. And we got to be careful of certain players on the ice. Their first line's pretty good, and they're a whole different animal. So it's definitely different.
Have you worked with the defense at all differently this week to get ready for that long stretch against Wichita Falls?
I don't know if it's been differently, more of focusing on a lot of the details that we need to do. Some minor things in our game that we need to clean up, and that'll help us win. So I don't know if it's different, just bearing down and hunkering down and getting better.
So we'll. I want to ask you, since we haven't had a goalie on, we've never had a goalie on other than Al.
Kupski in the offseason.
Yeah, that was
a call-in.
That was more about the draft, but. So Dan has a lot of drills, Dan and Jeff, a lot of drills that they learned at Colgate, and some they picked up in the pros. Is there one drill that you just dread, and then is there one that you love?
I love any battle drill. I like to battle. I like to go out there and just battle and stop pucks. I can't stand. It's called 1-2-3 shooting. It's a warm-up drill. It's basically 3 one-timers in the slot. I know OB hates it. I hate it. It's awful. And it's always a warm-up drill. So it's
like, great. How many warm-up
Oh,
drills?
yeah. 1-2-3 shooting is not my favorite. But, I mean, it's part of practice. There's going to be drills you like and there's going to be drills you dislike. You just go out there and focus on stopping the puck. And, yeah, but that's the one I do not like.
What makes so bad? Just the fact that it's just hangs out to dry type thing?
Just the fact that we just get out there and you're facing just clap bombs from the slot and 1-2s is just not the best. But and the players, they're like, oh, we get to take a one-timer in the slot. They're just ripping it at your head, right? So it's not fun as a goalie.
Shooting gallery.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I think Corpus. I saw on Corpus's feed. At least they don't do this. Their Twitter, they put out. A drill where I guess every single player on the ice was involved in the puck. It was almost like, what do you play when you're in PE in lower school?
Like
one of those like dodgeball, not dodgeball,
like wall ball type of thing.
Yeah. When it's like, here, let's just get the whole class of kids to play. It just looked like a mishmash of recess and have fun stopping the puck.
Yeah.
When there's 90 bodies in front of you, right?
Yeah.
I guess some things could be worse.
They could be definitely worse. Now. Here's another question. We've asked pretty much every guest that we've had this. What's your favorite barn to play in since being a Brahma, other than NITEX, which obviously
I was going to say, like,
He hasn't even seen one of them.
I was going to say, like, yeah, obviously this one. I mean, the fans here are great. We get a lot of fans for this building. Every night we play here, and I mean, the fans are great. I like myself. I liked Amarillo just because of last week, and the fans were rowdy, and they were screaming my name and stuff. And like I love that. I love when I'm getting on a team's nerves, or if the fans are trying to rattle me. Like, I personally love that, so I like that. I thought. Let me see.
I mean,
who else say? I liked
Corpus.
Odessa's rink because of the fact that they had black seats and it was just impossible to see the puck if it got lifted off the ice. So I felt that was just an awful idea on everyone's part. And
not to mention they're always empty.
Yeah, true. Very true. And they had that giant black curtain on the one side, so that just made it even worse to see the puck. So, I mean, I thought that was just awesome
That's
engineering.
True.
Awesome engineering on their part.
Never really thought about that, I
Is that
guess.
Corpus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because from our I guess from the bench's vantage point, when they're looking on the ice to the left, it's the half curtain behind for concert settings. I never realized that it would maybe interfere with vision from the other end. I mean,
It's like
makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
In the South, I mean, hockey is not the first thing on their mind when they build arenas. I mean, this one obviously was built for hockey, so it's a totally different story. But yeah, I've heard of goalies complaining with us, like, the little curtain that we put in the lobby here. I'm pointing for everybody that's listening. They can see that. So we have a curtain behind the goal that we shoot twice at, and so which means you're looking that way, I guess, twice.
Yeah.
We've never had a game where that thing's been completely down, but if we do, I'm sure you'll be the first to tell us that thing needs to go back up, because when it's nighttime and there's people walking through the lobby, taking pictures, and it's just. You can see the neon from the concession stand and stuff. It's crazy. And I've heard goalies in the past, like, get that thing back up. I can't see. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not fun when obviously a big part of goaltending is seeing the puck, and if you can't see the puck, it doesn't work. I know OB and I talked a lot when we were in Corpus about that curtain, so I actually haven't even noticed the one here yet. So
That's good.
hopefully,
That's good.
hopefully that doesn't go down. But yeah.
No, that's true, because you get the concession, the people walking through, then you'll see different shadows. Yeah, because there isn't the behind, which makes NITEX, which is cool.
Yeah, we got the mural on one end, and then
which is sweet. But on the other side, it's like kind of the 2 rows just to make it really tight, and then right to the glass.
We've had one problem with flash photography. Obviously, it doesn't bother you because you're focused on the game, but you've heard a few announcements from the PA announcer this year.
Norgard's on it, baby.
It's just a testament to you have a lot of fans that are seeing their first hockey games and they just don't know. I mean, they're in the Fort Worth area. They don't know that you can't have a flash going off that it distracts these guys. But you put up with a few things here and there. Does the noise bother you here?
Not at all. I love when a building's loud and the fans are getting into it. I love that, so it doesn't bother me at all.
How about going back to since we were kind of talking about the flash photography and the last homestand, that was over Thanksgiving weekend. I know your family was here. Kind of walk through the having your family in town, the alternate jerseys, the jersey auctions, the week of Thanksgiving. So let's go back a little bit. What was it like just having family here to finally get everybody out, holiday season? At least you felt a little bit more at home with your billets and your family. Was it a good week for you?
It was. It was. This is my first year away from home, so it was going into it. I didn't expect to see my family a lot. Obviously, they live in Michigan. I'm down in Texas.
Right.
So when they told me that they're coming out, like, hey, we're going to be out on Thanksgiving for a week, I'm like, holy cow, I get to see my family on Thanksgiving. This is huge. So, I mean, it was awesome. Right when they got in, I think it was on a Tuesday, I went over to the hotel, made sure they were settled in, and we had a good time. We went to see a movie and, just spent kind of the week together. They had some stuff they did, it was kind of their vacation, right? It's a week-long vacation. So they did some stuff while I was doing my prep for a couple of the games, and then we did some stuff together. We actually went to the aquarium in Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
So we did that together, and they came over to my billets for Thanksgiving, and that was an unbelievable time. I live with Oscar and OB, but I'm sure they can attest we have the best billets. They're just amazing. So shout out to the handlers.
Oh no, the handlers. That's right.
They're amazing. So it was a really good week. Wish we would have got one more win in there, but it was a really good week.
It's what it is.
It is what it is. Always want to win though,
right?
So.
Yeah, the handlers, they're pretty generous to take on 3 hockey players.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was.
And their son Matt. I mean, he's in his mid-20s, I guess. He's a big man himself. So.
Oh yeah, he's.
I'm sure there's a lot of
he's
food
an athlete.
consumed in that house.
Oh yeah.
What's it like to when the team gets to wear those alternate jerseys? Is there like a different vibe? Do you guys enjoy it more to see a different change and different looks, or is it kind of like, yeah, this one's okay, I wish that would have been this? Or
we personally, I've never worn an alternate jersey like that.
Really?
I've never worn an alternate jersey. So when I heard we were doing military appreciation night, the first thought that came into my mind was like, oh, we're going to wear camo jerseys. So when I saw those, I'm like, okay, those are way cooler than camo jerseys. So I really liked them. I know the team liked them. There was a lot of guys taking Instagram pictures and Snapchats and stuff like these are awesome, and it was a cool experience. But when you get on the ice, you're not focusing about the jersey, right?
Right.
So, but it was. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It's a different view when you go in the locker.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Everything looks red, white, and blue, right?
Yeah.
Purple and black.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you like that jersey auction? Was that fun for you?
It was. I went last in the jersey auction. I wanted my parents to get it, and they kept telling me to just go, and I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get all the money out of the way so you can bid on mine.
It's a pretty smart strategy.
It didn't work. Did not work. They bet once, and they're like, all right, screw you. Just someone else can have it. So a very nice family got my jersey, and I'm very glad that they did, and they seemed to really want it and enjoy it, so I was glad about that.
I'm disappointed. I was counting on the Kaczperski family dropping some big bucks. I drafted you in my fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
You're my fantasy jersey team.
Bates and I did have the highest jersey, so I mean.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Should have kept riling him up more. Maybe should have done a dance for him or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I lost by Hunt Nasty Van Tizzle down there in the office.
For the next fantasy jersey auction, we'll have to have Kaczperski be a top pick.
Right? Now we know.
We thought Brecka would go pretty quick because his jersey would smell good because he wasn't used in those 3 games. That's always a factor, too.
Yeah, he got the sympathy vote is what we went with.
Like, well, he's injured. Let's help him out.
Yeah.
Well, so you got coming up. I mean, obviously we've got a couple more weeks of games, but then you got Christmas and then Topeka on the 26th. And we'll slowly round out the first half of the season. Is there anything you're looking forward to in the second half of the season? Playing Odessa some or more home games? We've got a lot in the second half.
Yeah,
so.
we do. We have a packed schedule in the second half. I'm very excited to play Topeka again. I was in net for both Topeka games early in the season, and we lost both, and that did not sit well with me. I thought we did not play well as a team, and I didn't have my best games either, and I really want to win against them. I know the goalie on the other team. I know he's a cocky, not a very good person, and I don't like him, and I want to win.
Ooh.
So
opinion.
Oh yeah, and we play Odessa for the first time in the second half of the
Shout out
season.
Gunnar Rivers.
I was just about to bring him up. I'm living in his old house. He's coming to stay with us before he goes home for Christmas. So I got to prove to him I'm the better goalie, and I have heard he's honestly just an awful person. So I just want to beat him too. So I just want to beat everyone, and I don't like these other teams' goalies.
Yeah, right?
Hey, you're coming to stay at my house. I know you're a jerk, but
That was awesome.
I have not heard one nice thing about him at all. I heard he's
a Senators fan, so that's one nice thing.
There you go.
But that's good. It's good to have a little
I
competitive
know Mikey
fire.
likes him. Mikey Duffy likes him.
Well, yes, Mikey Duffy likes him.
there's one.
You know, the thing that's great about the NAHL is I like to see when there's a little bit of rivalry and a little bit of just a little talking. It's good. I mean, a lot of you guys seem like you're friends. Like we were talking earlier, Oscar's friend was with pretty much every Swede in the league. And they have conversations and stuff. It's like in hockey, you want your guys to hate whoever they're playing and not be friends. So it's good to hear you say he's a bad person. That's great. That's great.
Caught one off guard there.
That was awesome. That was great.
Walt is rocking a lanyard with one key.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm catching so much heat from that. A ways to point out you're a single 22-year-old. You have one key on your lanyard.
Well, you're wearing it around your neck, so I mean, you're kind of.
I got this lanyard last night at the Stars game because I signed up for a vacation, but I used Troy York as my name. So I got to tell him about that one. Thanks, Troy.
So if you get a call,
I put a fake phone number too.
Put Van Pizzle's phone number.
No, I don't even know his phone number.
Well,
he was feeling it, though. He wanted his blues. He wanted his blue note. Long live the blue note. What he always says.
That's true.
He wanted the Stars to lose bad.
Okay, so as we're winding down, there's one thing that we should talk about. Doesn't necessarily have too much to do with you, but you definitely will have input on it. Is a lot of fans were asking me about attendance numbers.
Oh God!
And here we go. In Wichita Falls. Okay, so
no, let's get Corbin's opinion. If he's throwing hate to the
while he's hot.
While you're firing bombs. So Wichita Falls claimed 1,200 people on whatever Thursday night.
That's a joke.
Okay.
that's
so in the way it works in sports, there's like two different ways that you count attendance. One is called a drop count, which is where everybody, or like when you walk in the arena, when you go to the Stars game last night, they scan your ticket. All the number of tickets that are scanned, that's the actual attendance number. That's the drop count. For us, if we count every ticket that's torn at the gate, that's a drop count. In the old arena in Fort Worth, we had to pay the city $1 a ticket, so they actually counted the drop count so that they'd send us a bill. But here, the way we roll is on tickets issued. That's how I count. So if we announce 2,400 and there's a couple empty seats, we sold 2,400 tickets.
To just people didn't come.
They didn't come or left early or whatever.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know what kind of voodoo magic Wichita Falls is using. I mean, it could be possible that they sold 1,200 tickets.
I doubt it.
And then
first thought in my head is there's about 1,000 tickets just littered in the streets. So, well, they were issued. They're rolling around.
Yeah, and then Amarillo was at like 1,800, almost 2,000 on Saturday.
Nope.
I think. Mind you, their arena seats 42 plus 4,200 or so.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think Amarillo definitely had more than Wichita, but that was not even that close. That's a.
We're thinking around 1,000.
Yeah. Maybe like maybe 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're off by double what they actual was.
I mean, that's the thing with Nitex. We don't have any room to really
lie
BS that much. I mean, it is what it is. You can tell on fast hockey if there's a crowd or not.
Right.
Yeah, you see every row.
It is what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, league attendance sucks. I have a real question for Corbin.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear back about the end of September when Nick and I flew up to the showcase and we see Jeff Potter for the first time, and this was a couple days after we had just traded Gunnar Rivers. So we're thinking, we're like, all right, it's OB and Darian Hansen for the rest of the year. First thing Potter says to us, we picked up a new goalie. I want to hear how that worked from your end.
Oh, boy. That was a fun story. So I
Why we asked?
I started the year in Muskegon in the USHL. I got drafted to them last year at the end of the year, and I made their 30-man roster, and I was with them in preseason. I unfortunately did not play my best, and that led to me getting cut right before the deadline. And so I don't even remember I think the 20th of September.
Makes sense, yeah.
I got dropped. And
While the team's in Blaine then.
No,
this is the week before. This was like
you're right.
They
that
left.
would be about right.
They left for Blaine on like a Tuesday or Monday,
right,
and
right.
I got cut on a Sunday. So I'm in Muskegon, which is about 3 hours away from my home. So when I get cut, I go back to my billets. I had a very good relationship with my billets, even though it was only 3 weeks. You know, they said, we're never going to do this again. You know, it's not fair. You deserve to be there, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, the whole shebang there.
Right.
But so I packed up, went home. I got home real late, and I went to bed. I woke up, and I'm like, you know, I can't sit around on this. I got to go and do some work. So I called my goalie coach up. I was like, hey, can I get a skate today? He's like, yeah, no problem. He's out at, like, Detroit area. So I drove an hour to Detroit. Still had all my stuff in my car. I hadn't unpacked, so I got home late. And right before I got on the ice, I get a call from the Minnesota Wilderness, actually, in the Null. And they called me up, and how'd it go? Actually, I'm sorry. I didn't get a call from them. I got a call from the general manager of Muskegon, who's friends with the coach of the Minnesota Wilderness. He's like, hey, you know, he called me about you. If you're interested, I'll give him your number.
Is that Coach Mullen?
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Great coach. And so I'm just like, yeah, I'm interested. You know, there's the only team that wants me. I'm going to go. So I was like very, very down. And my goalie coach at the time, he's like, Blaine's this weekend. That's like a big Null showcase. If you want to be there, you need to leave now. I'm like, okay. So I left Coach Millen or Mullen.
Yeah.
I always get it mixed up.
Yeah, I
always get it mixed up. But I left him a message. He didn't answer. And my coach was like, you got to get going. That's a 18-hour drive or whatever it is. or 12. It was 12 or something like that. Yeah. I don't remember. I'm like, okay.
Here you go, Cass.
So I just start driving. Haven't heard from him in like
By
6
yourself.
hours. By myself with all my stuff. And I'm just like,
see you, Mom, Pops.
yeah. And I'm just like, I really hope he calls me back because I'm just driving. And I was in Wisconsin somewhere, I think. And Potsy calls me.
Yeah.
And Potsy calls me, and he's like, hey, you know, I saw your name on the USHL drop list. I was just, is that true? I'm like, well, yeah. He's like, well, we would be interested in having you. And I'm like, okay, well, just letting you know, I'm on my way to Minnesota right now. I got a call from the Wilderness. I'm going to go skate with the Wilderness. And he's like, well, have you signed anything yet?
Jeff Potter.
And I'm like, well, I haven't really talked to the coach yet. He's like, oh, you can go wherever you want. You can do whatever you want. So here, I'm going to send you he sent me like this packet of information about the team. He's like, we want you on this team. You can still come to us. You haven't signed anything yet. Clearly, this guy hasn't been very communicative with you. So
yeah.
Throwing him under the bus.
He's like, so like, we want a goalie and all this stuff. And I'm like, holy cow, I'm on my way to Minnesota. I'm in Wisconsin or wherever.
Want my services.
And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I ended up, I called some of my contacts that I know I almost tendered with Wenatchee at the end of last season, and they're in the BC now. So I talked to the coach a lot, and I called him and asked for his advice, and he suggested the South, and he's had nothing but high marks for Coach Dan.
Was that Bliss?
Bliss Littler.
Yeah.
And, I called him. I called some other coaches. I talked to my goalie coach. I talked to my parents, obviously. And long story short, I made the decision to come down here, and I'm glad I did.
Wow.
So
Did you have to drive here to Minnesota?
Oh, yeah. I drove from Muskegon, which is on the west coast of Michigan, back to my home on the east coast of Michigan, all the way to Minnesota, and then Clark was nice enough to drive down from Minnesota to Texas with me.
Did you know him before? Or?
I actually played with him like 5 years ago, AAA. So I had known him for a little
Good.
bit. Yeah,
so it wasn't real awkward.
Yeah,
like
it was.
John Candy and Steve Martin and
Right.
on automobiles or anything.
Yeah, so juniors is fun. That's the moral of the story there.
That's
The other
pretty
moral
sweet.
is Potter had a
Jeff
2-hour
Potter.
window to steal you.
That's what we had heard too. He said he's like, yeah, some other teams have been calling about him, but I'm trying
I
to
intercepted it.
He literally said intercepted this
yeah.
new goalie, and I'm like,
Yeah,
He's shifty. I gotta
Yeah,
tell
it
you.
was
We were
good.
like, how did this work out?
well, that's interesting too, because if you would have gone to the Wilderness, they've got that Chase Monroe kid,
Yeah.
and he's doing well,
good, too.
and he's got a D1 commitment, so
Yeah.
who knows if you'd even be splitting time there.
Yeah, because I actually after Potsy called me, the coach of the Wilderness called me back. He's like, "Sorry, we're dealing with some stuff over here. They were having some stuff on their end."
Deuces, bro.
And like, basically, he told me, he's like, "Hey, and Monroe is the goalie you're talking about over there that's doing well. He didn't have a good first game or whatever it was. And the way juniors works is you got to get those first games under your belt and you got to do well, or the coaches are going to start thinking like, ooh, what have we done, right? So he was telling me, he's like, hey, we need a goalie. Both of our goalies are under 900 save percentage right now, which, you can't have and all that stuff. And obviously Monroe has done a lot better since then, and he's really, clearly done well. But he's like, we need a goalie bad. And so they weren't doing so well. But long story short, I'm glad I'm down here.
And then your first game was against that team.
It was. I feel like I
true.
feel
And you
like
played Chase Monroe.
I did, but I played
the other
both of
kid
them.
started.
The other
He
kid
got
started.
robbed.
He got yanked. Yeah, he got yanked. But
Monroe was good.
yeah, he didn't let
a goal.
Monroe didn't let a goal in. But I feel like Coach Dan and Coach Potsy, they kind of did that on purpose. I feel. I feel like they did. Just rub it in a little bit.
Well,
But,
I remember. I think Potter was telling me too. He's like, we gotta get this guy a game that way. Like he's on the roster. Like otherwise somebody will take him again. So I think that was part of it too. And I think was that the second game. I think you legally could have played because you were there. Did you watch the first one?
He backed up. You backed up.
I backed up.
Springfield.
I backed up. I backed up when Hanson played at Springfield.
Okay.
The junior hockey rules, and we talked about this the other day in the office, just the rules of player movement, or they'll make your head spin. And I'm glad that we have Jeff Potter, who clearly knows them.
He's the guru.
And
He's a legend in the hood.
Absolutely. Dan's definitely the X's and O's guys, and Jeff is the snake that gets all the good
They work
deals
well
done.
together. They work well together.
Absolutely.
Well, Chase Monroe, by the way, is Miami of Ohio University.
Shout out Ben Lown and Rourke Russell.
Right. So we'll be
Rourke
joining them
Russell.
next year.
I worked out with him this summer.
Did
Rourke?
you?
Yeah, Rourke and I are. We
Hey,
live
from
like
Michigan, right?
Yeah, we live like 20 minutes away from each other. Me
Wow.
and it's a kind of a family friend as our weight coach. His name is Mike Pearson. Great guy, just an unbelievable human being. And he trains NFL players, NHL players. He trains Jack Campbell, the Texas Stars goalie. He was out there all summer. I skated with him a couple times. I worked out with him a couple times. He's just
high draft pick.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable strength coach. And he was Rourke was out there a couple times. And nothing against York, just wasn't as hard as a worker as everyone else out there. So
Got to work hard.
Oh, and he's on the central scouting list too. I think Kaz gonna have to try to one up him there.
I'm just trying to chirp the other teams. Rourke's a great guy. Yeah. He's young. He's young. That's what it is. He's young.
He is.
He's young.
Yes.
So
he's another 98. Mm-hmm. In a league full of 96 and 95. So.
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we gotta get you back to yoga. We'll give you the tardy note. So there's no trouble with Marcia down there. But Corbin, we appreciate having you on the podcast. Always fun to chat with my boys, and we'll definitely get you back on. But I know your work cut out this week, so Brahma family's hoping for 5 wins. I know it seems like you don't want to settle for anything less.
I think we should mic him up for a practice sometime. I think that could get some colorful.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be real fun.
If we can find a way to protect the mark.
Strap a GoPro on your head.
Oh yeah, with the way our guys shoot, that might
go
be
straight for his head.
exactly.
I got insurance on it for 3 years thanks to Amanda. So
perfect.
Thanks,
perfect.
Amanda.
There you go.
We'll bust it out soon.
All right, I'm down with that. All right.
All right. Namaste.
See you guys.
We'll sign it out. See you, boys. And girls.